Came to Nashville with a paper sack full of songs and a crazy dream, and all these years later, I'm standing here receiving such honor like this. It's just mind-blowing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're stepping into the autumn chapter of Alan's life, a season filled with change and reflection. If you love exploring the moments that define a legacy, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an update. Let's get into it. Final struggle. Nashville is buzzing with uneasy whispers about country music legend Alan Jackson. This time, not about his storied career, but about the troubling state of his health. The 66-year-old icon, beloved for his warm drawl and decades of hits, is now at the center of speculation that his struggle with a rare disease has entered a far more serious stage. The singer has long acknowledged his battle with Charcot-Marie tooth disease, a degenerative nerve condition that slowly strips away muscle strength and mobility. For years, he tried to keep the symptoms hidden, but insiders now suggest the facade is crumbling. Reports of stumbling gait, trembling hands, and frequent bouts of exhaustion have only added fuel to the mounting concern that Jackson's decline is accelerating. Friends and close associates describe an unsettling pattern. At private gatherings, Jackson is said to lean heavily on furniture for support. In one particularly worrying account, a source claimed the star needed help simply to navigate a short flight of stairs. "His legs just don't seem to listen to him anymore," one confidant remarked. "He's proud. He doesn't want anyone to see, but it's clear he's struggling." Adding to the speculation are reports of hand tremors that make even small tasks difficult. Tabloid outlets have pointed to recent photos where Jackson appears to clutch a glass with both hands, as if bracing against the weakness in his grip. Observers note the subtle but unmistakable signs of a man wrestling with a body that no longer obeys. Beyond the physical symptoms, there are whispers of the emotional weight Jackson is carrying. Friends say he has become quieter, more withdrawn, and occasionally irritable when confronted about his health. Even more telling are reports that the star has begun suffering from existential crises, often questioning the meaning of his life and legacy. According to one insider, Jackson has started talking about God constantly, not just in the casual way of a believer, but as if he's searching for answers to questions he never asked before. Another source added, "He'll sit quietly for long stretches, lost in thought, then suddenly bring up heaven or the afterlife. It's like he's looking for peace before the storm gets worse." Family members are said to be increasingly protective, keeping a watchful eye on Jackson whenever he ventures out. Some even speculate that discussions about long-term care may have already begun. While no official confirmation has surfaced, the very suggestion underscores the gravity of the situation. At the same time, loved ones have reportedly encouraged his turn toward faith, hoping that prayer and reflection might provide comfort during what is quickly becoming the most difficult chapter of his life. For fans, the thought of Alan Jackson in decline is difficult to accept. Yet the growing body of evidence, the stumbles, the tremors, the whispered accounts of late-night pain, and now his haunting spiritual reflections, paints a portrait of a man facing not just a physical battle, but a profound reckoning with existence itself. Whether he chooses to speak more openly or continue keeping much of the struggle private, one truth is becoming unavoidable. Alan Jackson's health is no longer just a footnote, but the central drama of his life. And with each new sighting, each hesitant step, and each quiet mention of God, Nashville waits anxiously, wondering how much longer the star can stand against the tide of a disease determined to wear him down. Farewell to Alan Jackson. For fans, the last call, One More for the Road Tour, was meant to be a celebration of a legendary career. Instead, it became a haunting display of a man grappling with frailty, with whispers now swirling that he may tempt fate with one last show, or even a small run, in 2026. When Jackson launched his farewell tour in 2022, expectations were sky high. But insiders say from the very beginning, the cracks were visible. Stools appeared on stage, the set lists grew shorter. Crew members whispered about support stands and hidden braces designed to help him stay upright under the lights. By the midpoint of the run, the physical toll could no longer be masked. At several shows, Fans reported seeing him clutch at microphone stands for balance, his gait slow and uneven. In Texas, he reportedly had to be quietly steadied by a team member just to make it across the stage. If the physical strain was obvious, the emotional toll was even harder to hide. During a performance of Drive, the ballad he wrote about his late father, Jackson visibly broke down, his voice cracking as he wiped away tears. Fans recall the moment as heartbreaking, with some saying it felt less like a concert and more like a farewell confession. Behind the scenes, insiders say songs were cut on the fly, encores scrapped, and pacing adjusted at the last minute to give him breaks. At times, he skipped meet and greets altogether, retreating to recover in the quiet of his tour bus. The official final show came on May 17, 2025 in Milwaukee. A bittersweet night where Jackson waved to the crowd as though closing a chapter of his life. Fans wept, shouting his name long after the stage had gone dark. Industry whispers suggest Jackson has privately floated the idea of a Nashville blowout, a single night meant to close his career on home turf. Tabloid rumors have gone further, spinning tales of a possible 2026 tour branded as One Last Ride, even dragging names like George Strait into the mix as potential partners, though no official confirmation has surfaced. Skeptics, meanwhile, argue that his deteriorating health makes even one show risky, let alone a multi-city tour. It's not about desire, a source close to the singer explained. It's about whether his legs, his nerves, and his stamina can handle it. Right now, that's the biggest question mark. For now, fans are left in limbo, caught between the heartbreak of goodbye and the tantalizing possibility of one last reunion. What became clear to all who watched was that the farewell tour wasn't just a series of concerts. It was a test of endurance. The long nights of travel, the exhaustion of back-to-back shows, and the creeping advance of Charcot-Marie tooth disease made every performance a high-wire act. Behind closed doors, insiders say that recovery days became longer and longer, and that his team quietly rearranged schedules to allow space for rest. Jackson legacy. On June 20, 2024, Jackson's eldest daughter, Maddie Jackson Smith, welcomed a baby boy she would name Wesley Allen Smith, a name that nods both to her husband's grandfather and to her own father. The announcement came a week later via social media when proud grandparents Alan and Denise shared a photo beaming with joy beside Maddie, still in her hospital bed cradling the newborn. Thus, Jackson's family expanded again. He already had a grandson, Jackson Alvy Bradshaw, born in December 2022 to his daughter Ali and her husband Sam. The Easter gatherings of 2025 gave fans a sweet glimpse of both boys, Jackson and Wesley, playing side by side in family photos Maddie later shared. The timing of Wesley's birth couldn't have been more bittersweet. Jackson was already navigating the toll of declining health, nerves weakening, balance precarious, and existential doubts growing louder. Yet insiders say for a moment that newborn's arrival became a rare time of respite, a reason to smile even when his body wouldn't fully cooperate. One confidant said Jackson lit up when holding Wesley, fighting through tremors just to cradle him. Still, sources admit the addition of new life also stirred tension. Jackson's energy is finite. The extra demands, moments in the nursery, travel to family homes, photo shoots to introduce the baby publicly, all chipped away at rest and recovery time. Some aides quietly reportedly pushed to limit his public appearances during the first months, citing the need for stamina and nerve recuperation. Others report he's been using moments with his grandson as emotional touchstones, referencing heaven, legacy, and faith in ways that feel both protective and urgent. Quiet romance. After months of whispers about Alan Jackson's health, his bittersweet farewell tour, and the tender arrival of grandchildren, a new story has begun to weave itself into his life. One marked not by family or illness, but by an unexpected companionship. More and more often, Jackson has been seen in the company of Bonnie Raitt, the blues legend whose career has been defined by raw emotion and quiet strength. What began as casual sightings has evolved into a pattern too frequent to dismiss, and insiders suggest there may be far more between them than shared musical respect. At industry events, charity galas, and even informal gatherings, Rait's presence near Jackson has become increasingly difficult to ignore. The two are often spotted arriving together, seated close, and slipping away to quiet corners away from the spotlight. To those who have watched closely, their comfort in one another's company feels unmistakable. Rait has been described as attentive, almost protective, steadying him when his balance falters and lingering near his side long after others have drifted away. What has fueled speculation far beyond innocent friendship is an alleged leak from within Jackson's circle. According to one insider, Rait has privately admitted that her admiration for Jackson has deepened into something more personal. The confession, whispered in confidence, has reportedly traveled quickly among those close to the pair. It is said that in recent weeks, Rait presented Jackson with a deeply personal gift, a handcrafted keepsake meant not only as a token of affection, but as a symbol of the bond she feels between them. The nature of the gift has not been revealed, but those who claim to have seen it describe it as meaningful, intimate, and impossible to mistake as casual. She is said to show a particular attentiveness when he grows tired, offering quiet reassurances and ensuring he is never left unsupported. Those around them suggest her feelings are not only evident, but increasingly impossible for her to conceal. For Jackson, struggling against the steady advance of illness and the emotional strain it brings, Rait's companionship may represent more than friendship. She has long been admired for her resilience and grounded nature, qualities that could provide the solace and steadiness he now needs most. Insiders quietly speculate that her presence has softened his darker moods, offering a rare reprieve from the weight of decline. Neither Jackson nor Rait has addressed the rumors, and their public appearances remain cloaked in plausible deniability. To the outside eye, they are simply colleagues, peers united by music and mutual admiration. Whether this bond blossoms into romance or remains a quiet companionship between two icons of American music, the fascination continues to grow. For fans, the thought of Alan Jackson and Bonnie Raitt finding comfort in one another at this stage of life adds yet another poignant layer to a legacy already filled with triumphs, struggles, and unexpected turns. Beyond the stage. Even as Alan Jackson faces the challenges of fragile health and the shifting chapters of his personal life, he is quietly preparing something far more profound than a tour or a record. Behind the gates of his Tennessee estate, Jackson has begun work on a documentary film, not for release during his lifetime, but as a final message to the world after he is gone. Small film crews have been working under strict confidentiality, arriving discreetly and leaving long after dark. Neighbors speak of unusual activity, recording vans parked at the edge of the property, heavy equipment carried into barns and outbuildings, lights glowing late into the night. The work is deliberate, careful, and conducted with an air of secrecy befitting a project of such personal weight. The material already captured is said to be intimate and wide-ranging. Interviews with Jackson himself are believed to form the backbone of the film. But the project reportedly goes further, weaving in private family footage, unseen rehearsal tapes, and personal reflections that span his entire career. The intent is not to build another highlight reel of fame, but to leave behind a portrait of the man behind the music, unfiltered and unvarnished. Jackson has been deliberate about the vision. Those close to the process describe a project focused not just on triumphs, but on the hidden corners of his life. The toll of his illness, the weight of fame, his questions of faith, and the moments of doubt that never made it into the spotlight. By ensuring the film is only released after his death, Jackson guarantees that it will stand as his final word, unedited by public opinion, untouched by commercial pressure. It will be his life told on his own terms, the way he wished to be remembered, with all the honesty that defined his songwriting. His family has been drawn into the process as well. Denise, his wife, is said to be protective of how much of their private world should be shared, while his daughters are believed to be helping select material from decades of memories. Home movies, holiday gatherings, and early performances preserved on old tapes. Behind the scenes, editors are piecing together a story that blends public history with personal revelation. This balance of intimacy and legacy has not been easy. Some family members reportedly worry that the openness may feel too raw, while others believe it reflects exactly what Jackson has always stood for: truth, even when it is uncomfortable. For fans, the idea of such a project is nothing short of extraordinary. A man who has spent a lifetime speaking through music is now crafting a final message designed to reach listeners when his voice can no longer fill a stage. It will not be another concert or another album, but something deeper, a testament, a confession, and a farewell all at once. What is being created in quiet rooms today will one day serve as Jackson's last encore, a film that carries his story into the future and leaves no doubt about the heart behind the legend. New House. As Alan Jackson's life takes on new layers of reflection, health challenges, and whispered companionships, he has quietly made another move, one that speaks volumes about where he is choosing to spend his time. The country legend has purchased a breathtaking modern estate in Jupiter, Florida, a home that combines sleek elegance with coastal tranquility, offering both luxury and privacy at a moment when both seem essential. Built in 2022 by Rothrock Construction, the estate is nothing short of extraordinary. Perched on a private half-acre lot with no homeowners association to interfere, the property commands 180 feet of intracoastal frontage, where the shimmering blue water of South Florida stretches out in full view. The house itself is a striking example of modern architecture, with expansive glass walls and soaring ceilings that flood every corner with natural light. The open concept design centers around a gourmet kitchen, outfitted with high-end finishes and a gas stove, a space perfect for family gatherings or intimate evenings of quiet reflection. For Jackson, who has always valued the warmth of home as much as the roar of a stadium crowd, the layout feels as practical as it is stunning. What makes the property especially suited to this chapter of his life is its thoughtful separation of spaces. A guest house, tucked neatly away from the main residence, offers visiting family and friends privacy without disrupting the flow of the estate. Insiders note that Jackson, with his growing family and grandchildren, was drawn to the idea of a home that could accommodate gatherings while still giving him moments of peace. The exterior has been upgraded with meticulous attention. Lush landscaping has been enhanced for both beauty and seclusion, while premium artificial turf now blankets the backyard, creating a green oasis that requires little upkeep. A sleek, linear fire pit serves as the centerpiece for evening gatherings, a place for storytelling, music, or quiet contemplation against the backdrop of the water. For Jackson, a man long associated with the rhythms of Southern life, the property's direct water access may be its greatest treasure. With a Neptune boat lift, a brand new seawall, and a deep water dock, the estate is a boater's paradise, perfectly positioned for afternoons spent drifting along the intracoastal or venturing out toward the open ocean. It is a reminder that even as his body faces limitations, his spirit remains tied to the freedom of wide horizons and endless waters. The estate has been outfitted with a full house generator, ensuring that comfort and security remain constant no matter the circumstances. For Jackson, whose health battles have made him more cautious about his environment, such foresight reflects a desire for stability and peace. Everything about the house, from its design to its infrastructure, suggests not just indulgence, but careful planning for the years ahead. The price of such perfection was steep. Insiders estimate Jackson paid around $10 million for the property, a figure that underscores just how much he values this new chapter of life. For a man who has spent decades crafting an unparalleled career, the purchase reflects both accomplishment and a desire to create a haven worthy of his legacy. That brings us to the end of this story. If you enjoyed it, don't miss the other celebrity journeys waiting for you on screen. Thanks so much for watching.